Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Everley Davis. I'm the Assistant Curator and Community Engagement Coordinator here at the Peoria Riverfront Museum. And we are gathered for a very special occasion. In the house, we have with us Atlanta-based artist Alfred Conteh. And we'll hear more about him and the painting behind me. But to get us started, I want to introduce our President and CEO, John Morris.
Good morning, everyone, for the official, well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Such energy in this gallery and in this house, Peoria Riverfront Museum, these last 3 days. On behalf of the Board of Directors, it's a privilege for me to welcome everybody for this, the official dedication today of Alfred Conteh's masterpiece painting that is now a part of our permanent collection at the Peoria Riverfront Museum, our greatest inheritance. Isn't it beautiful? Today's a day we'll hear from the artist Alfred Conteh himself. After the last couple of days of celebrations with the general public, with our Visionary Society donors, our board, today is a day we're open for the public with a brand new work of art hanging in this fresh gallery. Fresh is the name of the exhibition that we've given to Alice Walton's remarkable Art Bridges Foundation contribution to our museum. This art all around us, acquired by America's wealthiest woman and greatest American art philanthropist, Alice Walton of Bentonville, Arkansas. And through the establishment of her Art Bridges Foundation, we became one of the earliest museums in the country to partner with her and gratefully receive philanthropy that has lifted up our people in our mission to build confidence and spark learning and ultimately to unleash the full talent and genius of every individual. One of the paintings that Alice Walton acquired and then lent to this museum was a painting by Alfred Conteh, an artist up until that point we were not yet familiar with, but an artist of national reputation, an artist who is a proud alumnus of Hampton University, I might mention, and a proud resident of Atlanta, Georgia. But he is working his way quickly to full Peoria residency status. And we are proud to have him back again for another significant visit to the museum and to our neighborhoods and to our communities. So today, to give greetings on behalf of the people I serve and work for, who in turn we all serve the community, that is our board of directors. Todd Baker, our board chairman, has spoken the last couple of days on things, but today we have the board member who has really spearheaded and led this project from starting point to this beautiful moment of dedication. And I'm proud to serve with him and for him and other members of our board. Please help me welcome Dr. Derrick Booth.
Good morning. It's been an amazing 3 days to celebrate and to dedicate this magnificent piece of artwork. For me, it's been a real full circle moment, remembering when Alfred came about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, and taking him around Peoria with Everley and capturing that image, and today to see a little over a year later it hanging in the Peoria Riverfront Museum. It's been awesome. It's been rewarding. We're very lucky to have this partnership with Alfred to have this work in our midst. One of the things that I mentioned yesterday, I think about those 18,000 youth that come through these doors every year to see artwork from all over the world, to see artwork from local images, but also this piece here, many individuals be able to see themselves in that work. And so thank you for being here as we dedicate this piece to the Riverfront Museum. Alfred, thank you for your partnership with the Peoria Riverfront Museum for this piece. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Booth. Well, like everything we do at this nonprofit 501c3 charitable enterprise, We rely on the good hearts and the generous souls that we have in our community and around the country. This painting was acquired because people stepped up and wrote checks. And that is just the reality of how you run a $6.5 million a year enterprise on private philanthropy alone with no steady, regular expectation of local, state, federal government year to year. Sometimes we get it and we say thank you. We get special grants and we say thank you. But this is on us, the private citizens of Central Illinois. And how remarkable that philanthropy said yes to this and stood up for this. And so the first order of business on this dedication day is for me to celebrate those in this room, 14 people in total, who stepped up and said, we will. And the first of those, the first check in the door, actually he ended up writing 2 checks, a big check and then a bigger check, which is my favorite kind of donor, is a man who serves as a member of my President's Advisory Council. He's of Peoria, grew up here, loves this community. He served in public space as a police officer. He went on to form numerous businesses and has grown into the largest black-owned business in Central Illinois. He's active in chambers of commerce and the Black Chamber of Commerce, both nationally and locally. And he's a man who has a heart for the whole community, a place where he came from. And he was our lead donor to get this started. And please help me welcome to the lectern, Ron Gibbons.
Well, good morning to everyone, and it's my pleasure to stand before such an illustrious group of people. And I don't get all the accolades and all the good things that are said and done within the community. There's a number of us. And as in my whole life, I've always been one that said, we need to be able to reach down, reach back, and help other people. And you can do it in any of a number of different ways. Some of us through money, some of us through just hard work, and some of us just being here and just sitting and being part of the community. And as I look around over the years, I've become very aged. So it is important to me to make do with every piece of my life that I can. I wanted to and would love to make a legacy that stands not only for the Gibbons family, but for the whole community. There's not too many people in my faith and color that can do some of the things that God's made me be able to do. And I want to just thank him, thank my family for being part of all of these organizations that I try to make a difference in. So, you know, this is probably one of the most major ones that I'm involved with right now. And I truly believe that I was tapped on the shoulder, you know, by Mr. Conteh, and we had a sidebar conversation, as they say in the legal system. And we talked about how we can get here and what we've done and what we can use as our own gifts. So I'm going to close with the fact that I'm so happy that I was able to do just a little piece to not only enhance his artistry, but to make him part of the Peoria community. And I hope forever that we have his type of individual with his talent to come to the multidisciplinary museum, one of only a few. One of only a few. And I feel good about it. So I thank you for all coming out this morning. And please help us continue to do the work. John is a heck of an ambassador for the museum and all of the others and that chime in to do what we can. So thank you this morning, and please be safe.
Ron, we've got a little something for you. It is a lucite plaque with Alfred Conteh imagery on it, and it is also good for free parking at the museum. Anytime you want. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a number of people step forward, and those today, just briefly, if you don't mind, I may not have told you in advance, but I'd like you just to come forward as I call you up here, who really stepped up and generously supported this. The first lady I'd like to bring up was one of my earliest advisors here, former member of the board of directors of the museum, and a constant, consistent, always renewing member of our visionary society, and the woman who inspired us to start putting pictures of artists. And Alfred Conteh will know this is very rare to find this in museums, but we put pictures of our artists on every single work here. It helps people identify people, inspire people, and it's really amazing what Rosemary McCullough did for this museum. Please come forward, help me welcome Rosemary McCullough.
Wow. Always have to stand to the side.
Here we go, Rosemary. There we go.
It's indeed a pleasure for me to be here and to be supportive of this particular initiative. And as John said, I served 6 years when this museum opened. So I feel especially proud to be a part of this. And also I represent the African American Hall of Fame Museum, which is the only African American museum downstate Illinois, and we are located in the Noble Center. Anyway, I'm so happy to be here and to be a part of this, and we welcome you to Peoria, and should you decide to make a move, I got the right place for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you. Rosemary, we got something for you. I want to just quickly mention Rosemary's gift also honored her late mother, Geraldine Mitchell. Geraldine Mitchell was one of the great activists and leaders and in our community's history, and what a nice way of putting her name permanently on this label. So help me welcome the vice chairman of the board of the Peoria Riverfront Museum, who with his wife, Erica, stepped up with one of the major gifts that went into this project. Ladies and gentlemen, PNC's president, our vice chairman of the board of the Peoria Riverfront Museum, Brian Ray.
I'll be brief, thank you. I've told the story a few times. I moved to town about 7.5 years ago and immediately got involved in the museum. And art was really not a part of my life. And in the last roughly 6 years, I have served on the board of directors at the museum. I've been the treasurer, I've been the secretary, I'm now the vice chair. And when I tell you that this place is in my blood, I mean it. And art has become part of my life, and I've been able to see what John and the board talk about every day, which is the inspiration that art brings into the community. When I heard the story from Everley and Derrick and John and others about Alfred Conteh and what he was doing and how he was going to represent our community, my wife and I said very clearly, and this is the first time we've made a significant philanthropic gift towards art, and I could not be more honored to be part of this project. Alfred, thank you for what you do. Thank you for the inspiration that you brought to this museum, to this community, to the kids, and to the adults who are going to see this forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Erica. So, next up, I want to mention there's a couple of people involved with this museum who are tremendously generous and who this last year were just inducted into the Hall of Fame for our businesses here in our community, which made me very proud. They deserve tremendous amount of credit for running what was the state of Illinois' manufacturer of the year about 5 years ago now, Philippi Hagenbach. And Josh Swank is in Edinburgh, far off, but he's been texting or emailing and excited. I don't know what time it is in Edinburgh right now, but he's up. He's excited about this. But his wife and the president of Philippi Hagenbach, who, along with Josh Swank, is just tremendous visionary society, council donors here. His wife is here. So we have the president. Would Danette Swank please come forward? And thank you, Danette, for your major support.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, yes, I'm representing the Swanks today. Josh is out of town, and he is awake at all hours. So I've been getting texts. I sent him a picture of the real thing, and his comment was, "It's magnificent." So thank you so much. When you visited, was it a year and a few months ago? We were so inspired by your story, your work, the team that you were with, and I recognize there's a lot of people involved in making this day happen, but thank you so much for sharing your talents and treasures with us. This is beautiful, and thank you. Yes.
Thank you. She is unable to be with us today, but Gretchen Petrakis, we want to recognize her, chair of our development committee, and a very generous donor to the museum and to this project as well. This is a special story because you all know Everley Davis is our assistant curator and just a super talent on the team of super talented people. And this has been such a joy for me to see Everley continue to just rise in her professional life. About 2 weeks ago, Everley's grandfather came to my office with Everley. And I was delighted to see him because he had just celebrated his 60th wedding anniversary here at the museum. It was quite a party. And he sat down with me and pulled out his checkbook. And he said, "I would like to write a check to support the museum on this project, and I'd like to do it in honor of my granddaughter who works on your team." So what's so beautiful to me is that the names Sharon and Joe Montgomery will be on here, as well as the phrase, "in honor of our granddaughter, Everley Davis." Help me welcome grandfather to this museum, Joe Montgomery.
Thank you. John just took my whole speech. Basically, my granddaughter is amazing to me. I never knew she had this kind of talent as she was a young child growing up, you know. But I've watched her make presentations in church and other public places, and it just seems to flow so relatively easy. I thought, wow, I didn't know she had that kind of talent. So I'm more than honored to be able to support her any way I can, and I think my family members know that. I tell them, if you're happy, I'm happy. Thank you.
Ron Givens just reported to me that you have a very good voice. And I think we all agree with that. Singing, and Ron wanted that to be registered for the press conference, so it's on there right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Alfred Conteh is a twin. His brother Alvin came with him when he first arrived in Peoria, and in fact, I think Alvin is the one that kind of gave some testimony that Peoria was okay. He said, "This place is good." Now, I did not pay Alvin to say that. to whisper it into your brother. I'm just proud that he said it. But there's another pair of twins who make a huge difference in our museum and our community and for the arts. They have promised a gift of their entire collection of contemporary art to the museum, and that has been announced previously at a press conference. Their names are John Heintzman and Jeff Heintzman. And just like we have one half of the twins today from the Conteh family, we have one half of the twins from the Heintzman family, so please help me welcome one half of the twins, John Heintzman.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see this many people at a press conference. Jeff and I do believe in the museum, and we also know what generosity in our community means. We've learned from a gentleman that's sitting amongst us, his family, the Bielfeldt family. They taught us at a very young age that sharing is the best thing you can do. We have committed our collection to the museum. It is a collection of contemporary art. And we knew we could not, first of all, afford an Alfred Conteh, nor could we commission one, but we wanted to participate because our collection is Peoria's collection, and we want to be part of this because this is a Peoria painting. And I think it's one of the most wonderful and sensitive paintings that we have ever seen. And we owe it to Alfred Conteh. So thank you.
That's great. So Sally Snyder could not be here. She's traveling. She also participated with a generous gift to the acquisition of this painting. And Aaron Kilgore, many of you know, very successful State Farm representative, made a gift for himself. Also a separate gift. I love this, Alfred, when they give two gifts. Even better, a separate gift honoring his own mother, Erma Davis, who was really, his own grandmother, Erma Davis, who was such a force in this community as well. And how awesome is it that two of the legends of this community, Geraldine Mitchell and Erma Davis, the names are going to be on this. So now, I want to bring back to the lectern somebody who has not only chaired the project, but made a gift with his wife, personal gift, to lift up this project, and that is a member of our board, Dr. Derrick Booth.
Thank you. I already spoke earlier. I'm not going to take up any more time, but I appreciate this. But just me and my wife, this is one way we're able to give back, to invest in the community, to invest in the museum, and just to say thank you to not only the board, which I'm happily serve on, but also the leadership of John Morris to bring these types of initiatives to Peoria. So thank you again. Thank you.
And I say Dr. Booth's wife as if everyone in the world knows, but to state for the record, Representative Jehan Gordon Booth, who is such a great supporter of the museum as well, and Dr. Booth. So finally, I want to recognize the other most significant donor. So we've sort of bookends, Ron Givens and Carrie Givens, the Givens family, but the person who really helped get the entire Art Bridges relationship going, serves on our foundation board, and as our guest curator, I double his salary every year. He's asked for triple salary next year because he has volunteered 7 years since I've been the CEO here. He is the #1 advisor for all of us in every discipline and on this project as well. He, an admirer of his who made a gift to establish something called the Anniversary Fund a couple years ago on our 10th anniversary, allows for this acquisition, and his own foundation, the Oak River Foundation, which has allowed for the making of the film. So please help me to close out the recognition of our donors, our guest curator, Bill Heidrich.
Thank you. It's been a real joy to be a part of this project. Unsaid is, what are the things that attract someone to support a project like this? The idea of simply buying a contemporary work of art for the museum has some modest appeal, but where do we start? Where do we end? I mean, it's a huge, we're not the Metropolitan Museum of Art, we're not the Art Institute of Chicago. What's important? What's important is start with a wonderful artist who many of us like, who many of us get, and then go further. Have this be a celebration of us, a recognition of us. Make it distinct from other things. Because otherwise you could just go to a gallery someplace and pick something out on the wall and bring it here and celebrate and get excited about that. But instead, what happened is a bold, imaginative idea took form, and I can jump to the end and say the result is outstanding. What you don't get a sense of is what happened along the way. It's a very complex project. It built on important relationships forming amongst the people involved. And as Everley said more than once, sort of answering the question, how did you pull this about? How did you pull this off? Is it just grew organically. I think for me, as a donor, as a supporter of the museum, the really attractive thing is the relationship to Peoria, that we could find someone who was interested with a national reputation, that we could engage to do something this exciting that celebrates who we are. Not somebody else, this is us. These are our people. This is our community. Further to all of that, this marks a very important evolutionary step for this museum. This is the work of serious art museums, engaging with artists, becoming involved in their work and getting them involved in us and who we are. Frankly, a lot of museums don't take that next step. They just try to get involved with the artists and try to squeeze the best thing out of them at the cheapest price. That's not what we did. We engaged openly and directly with everybody involved, and Everley, Bill Conger, did such a good job, and everybody else. And of course, we have our fearless cheerleader, John Morris, behind the scenes, helping guide us along. I'm grateful to have been a part of this, and I'm just so excited for what this has done for this museum and this community. And thank you, Alfred. I'll be here to help you move. Can you set a date?
Don't forget this.
No.
Thank you, Bill Heidrich. Thank you so much. So now the two people on our team, and I say it's our team because all of us. I may be the 7 years behind the scenes, as Bill says, which I laugh because I'm shy. Behind the scenes. But the two people who really made this project happen, and Alfred can attest to this, are the people who got in the car and drove up and said, we're Peoria, and we want to invite you into our community, are the chief curator of this museum, Bill Conger, and the assistant curator, Everley Davis. And I'd like to ask both of them to come forward now.
Thanks, John. I'm going to say a couple words before Ms. Davis here. I'm so proud that you're here, so happy that you are attending today, because this is a big moment. This is a major moment for Peoria Riverfront Museum, a new level of acquisition. This is a commissioned portrait, certainly the largest portrait in our collection. And it's monumental. It's monumental in scale, it's monumental in achievement, and really it's monumental in that this is a watershed galvanizing moment for us. To accept this into the permanent collection of Peoria Riverfront Museum means that we accept this for Peoria. This is Peoria's painting that Mr. Conteh envisioned and achieved for us. And this will be on display forever to inspire people of Peoria, to push achievement to new places from our city and beyond. Couldn't be more proud. I think back to a day in November of 2022, Everley Davis came to me and said, "Did you know that Alfred's having a show in Chicago?" And I said, "Well, let's go." And so we showed up there, and the rest was history. Everley pushed this project absolutely, almost single-handedly to the very end, and she deserves all the credit. And she's got a few words to say about this, so please welcome Everley Davis.
Thanks, Bill, and thank you to everyone here that made this possible. It has me reflecting on how this whole conversation got started. In this gallery, we were hanging a painting, Malik and Marquise, the twins, that was on loan to us through Alice Walton's Art Lending Foundation, Art Bridges. And because in this exhibition, we're looking at over 200 years of American art, the most contemporary piece in there was Alfred Conteh's piece. And so because he was a living artist, young to the rest of the artists in there, you're still young. But I wanted to reach out. I wanted to see if there was a way to connect, if he was accessible. And that's when I knocked on Bill's office door and was like, hey, we should go to Chicago. And we did, and he was open and warm and welcome and a bit curious as to what Peoria has to offer. And like I've been saying, everything just happened organically. He loved the city loved you back. We will continue to love you, and thank you for doing this work.
So, to officially dedicate this, and we'll bring up Alfred, we're going to do something special, which is that we believe that here in Peoria, Illinois, the quintessential Americana place, will it play in Peoria, the city of gratitude, as I call it, we have a special role to play in celebrating America's semi-quincentennial. That's half of 500 or 250-year birthday as it's coming up. What's happened before and after that in our country is worthy of pause and reflection. And so we set out on a goal to acquire works for this collection which would speak to who we are as a country from our Peoria perspective. And what better work to dedicate as one of those most significant objects we could possibly acquire in the spirit of the America 250, which will be July 4, 2026, just a couple years from now, as we warm up to that. So our first acquisition about 2 months ago was a French plate that spoke to the French founding settlers of the region here. We are a French settled place. They came, worked with the Native Americans, who we're a Native American settled place, and that they were here for 10,000 years. And so to have put that plate into our collection set in motion something. But now the largest work in the collection of the Peoria Riverfront Museum and the newest acquisition will be the first that we have officially labeled an acquisition in honor and celebration of America and America 250. So Bill Conger, would you do the honors? That's the official America 250 logo nationally. So, and I will tell you, Alfred, I think we are the first museum in America to label any painting in celebration of our semi-quincentennial, and you are the man. So, ladies and gentlemen, our friend, a part of our family, a part of our museum community, a part of our values, from Atlanta to Peoria, artist Alfred Conteh.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Everybody's spoken so well and so eloquently this morning, and I appreciate the accolades. I gotta say something about you all. Thank you. Bill spoke about Everley and coming by the show 2 years ago, and I remember in the gallery, I knew what Peoria kind of was, and that Then I pulled up on my phone. I was like, that's a long way to come. You know, just to meet me, you know, I felt. Then I spoke to Bill and Everley about the potential of coming to the institution to see it for myself. So we kind of let it put a pin in the conversation and came back to it, and we arranged a visit last year, and I came with my brother. Had a great time. I remember Bill showing us around the gallery, seeing Bronzeville, meeting Preston, going out in the community with Mr. Booth and Everley and showing us around town. And my brother and I had a conversation. He was like, yeah, these are good people. You took the time to reach out to us and to, had dinner. We were just hanging out and just talking about art and, the museums and how all these different things that just made me really appreciative of how you all, embrace me and my brother and what I do. And when the conversation about creating a work for the museum came up, there are other people that I know who would have kind of been like, slow it down, think about it, how will this place in your process, and in your career. I was like, yeah, no brainer. Yeah, let's get it done, let's do it. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the more poignant pieces I've ever done in my career. And thank you all for giving me the opportunity to produce it. And I gotta say, I'm very happy that it is representative of the city, children, family. It's one of the more important pieces in my career. And I'm glad it's here. And it's a touch-tone portrait. And I would love to come back and visit it over the course of time. And again, thank you all, and thank you, Peoria. I appreciate you. Appreciate it.
Alfred, this will not be your last trip to Peoria. Mark my words. We appreciate you, and we feel blessed. We feel blessed by this relationship. There's a hand higher than ours that has helped put all of this together and help change not only our museum, but change our community. And there's very big things to come, big things to come. So we look into the faces of this family as we approach this Father's Day, and we think about family, and we think about the thousands and thousands of children who will see this portrait. Will see the hope in this portrait, who will see ourselves and themselves in this portrait. So we dedicate this portrait today. We thank everyone who's made it possible. God bless you all. Thanks for coming.